no drugs. We don't want any drugs on our streets. We need drug dealers in jail and safety for our children.
Grassroots organizations, grassroots movements matter. They make a difference. They really do. The city halls are listening. You know how I know that? Because in Abbotsford, they wanted to do the exact same thing, but they were going to put it directly across the street from a middle school. Do you think that drugs belong across the street from a middle school? No. I didn't hear you. Do you think they belong across the street from a middle school?
No. Nowhere.
Do they belong in your neighborhood?
Nowhere.
No, they do not. But you can't give up hope. The people in Abbotsford were deathly afraid because the cards were stacked against them. It was provincially owned property. It was already zoned. But it needed a building permit from City Hall. And I want you to know that less than an hour ago, the City Hall of Abbotsford said no. Yes! Common sense is coming back. Common sense is coming back. This decriminalization of drugs, we all know it was a bad idea, right? Drugs do not belong in our neighborhood.
No.
Drugs do not belong near our children in their schools.
No.
Addicts need treatment and recovery, not more drugs. Would you agree?
Agree.
This isn't saying no to helping people. This is saying no to having drugs across places like a middle school, like in your neighborhoods. And we need to listen especially to the Chinese community. Back in the 1800s, you didn't have one war against opium that lasted for 4 years. You had two of them. You know from your own history what damage these opioids do. We need to listen to your wisdom. We need to listen to your history. And right now, it is starting to happen. City after city after city are saying no. We need Burnaby to jump on the bandwagon and say no as well, don't we? Yeah. Are you ready for that? All right. So now, I believe we've got a few speakers that are lined up for this. And I want to thank you all for coming.
Thank you for coming from Abbotsford.
Well, you're more than welcome that I came from Abbotsford. I actually had a meeting in downtown Vancouver, so it was on my way back. And sadly, I wasn't going to make it to Abbotsford to where the city was voting, but I'm pleased to make it here. Because this is a movement that needs to go across British Columbia to start helping people get the care they need. They don't need drugs. They need treatment and rehab. We need to get their lives restored to them again. That's the compassionate thing to do.
That's right.
There's no compassion in this misguided notion that giving some of the most addictive drugs on the face of the planet are somehow going to help anyone.
Right.
It is misguided compassion. I have dealt with parents that have lost their children, or their children are addicted to drugs. Some of them are adult children. And they beg for help, but they can't seem to get any help, and they weren't seeming to get anything that their children actually needed. We need to make sure that we get people the care they actually need. Saying no to this is not being cruel. It's actually being compassionate.
That's right.
It's actually doing what's right by people whose lives are slowly being lost to drugs. We have had record deaths from overdose after record deaths after record deaths. Someone was saying to me, we lose more people a year in British Columbia than the collapse of the towers during 9/11. I haven't researched those numbers, but I believe those to be true.
Every year.
Every year we are losing people. You're absolutely right. Every year. And the numbers keep growing. I'm glad that we've put an end to the decriminalization of drugs. Now we need to put an end to hard drugs in shelters. You can't get better if you're an addict and someone is doing 2 doors down from you in their room. It's common sense that addicts will get triggered by watching someone else do it. The addiction is too strong. These drugs literally change the neurons in your brain. And they turn on and they want more and more and more, and they don't turn off. It takes a long time. It takes therapy. It takes rehab. It takes detox. Then these people can start to get their lives back. And they can go on. Nobody dreams when they're a child of being an addict. No one. They dream of other things. Like my grandson who dreamed of being a firefighter because that's what his dad does. And I'll tell you, my son, I'm very proud of him, he's a battalion chief for Vancouver. Do you know how many times he's been on a shift where they have had to take a narc pen and bring somebody back to life who was on the brink of death, only to have that person angry at them because it took away their high? Think about that for a minute, that you are so addicted that you're prepared to die because the high was that strong. That's what we're dealing with. This is not okay, and we need to end it. And I want to thank you all for showing up.
My name is Lawrence Mock, and I'm the MLA for Greenbush Police. I'm voicing my support for the residents. We need safe streets and an end to illegal drug use in any housing projects in BC. The NDP government needs to stop these projects now.
Hello everyone, I'm Armin Bangil. What you're doing today matters. When a neighborhood stands together, parents, seniors, small business owners, newcomers, longtime residents, it sends a powerful message. Your voice counts and your safety matters. You're not out here because you oppose helping vulnerable people. You're here because you believe in real solutions, not rushed decisions, not top-down experiments, and not projects that ignore the lived reality of people who actually call this community home. The proposed project that has raised serious concerns about safety, transparency, consultation, and the long-term impacts on families. And your right to demand answers, and your right to expect honesty, and your right to insist that the government decision must be founded in evidence, not ideology. I stand with you in calling for a process that is open, accountable, and respectful. I stand with you in demanding that BC Housing and provincial government listen, not lecture. And I stand with you in saying that community safety is not negotiable. Supporting housing when done properly can change lives. But when it is pushed into neighborhoods without proper planning or the safeguards and without meaningful engagement, it fails everyone, residents, businesses, and the very people it's supposed to help. I have the privilege to lead. I will fight for a model that puts communities first. I will ensure that local voices are heard before decisions are made, not after. And I will push for solutions that are compassionate, responsible, and because British Columbians deserve both. To everyone gathered today, thank you for standing up, thank you for refusing to be ignored, and thank you for showing what real community leadership looks like. I am with you, I hear you, and I will keep working alongside you for safer, stronger, and more accountable British Columbia. Let's rebuild BC together. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Hon Chan, MOA for Richmond Centre. I'm here today to express my support for your community here in New Westminster. My position remains clear. Local communities must be meaningfully consulted and public safety must always be a priority. While we must continue to support vulnerable individuals, this support should be provided in the form of safe, well-managed and properly resourced spaces, not environments like drug den that put individuals or a broader community at risk. What we are seeing right now reflects serious mismanagement by the current NDP government, and it is communities like yours and ours that are bearing the consequences. Thank you for your advocacy and for speaking up on this very important issue.
The NDP response to chaos on our streets has been to warehouse the homeless and those suffering from addictions in BC housing facilities and to hand out free drugs. This is happening in communities throughout BC. Next on the list, a site in New Westminster next to, would you believe, an elementary school and a popular local park. These wet facilities permit the open consumption of illicit drugs on site. And of course, there'll be absolutely no security. It's absolute madness. Of course, the NDP didn't bother consulting local residents and business owners in advance. Well, I say enough is enough. I'm Yuri Fulmer, and I'm running to be leader of the BC Conservative Party because we cannot afford to let radical NDP ideology continue to do this to our communities. The solution to addiction isn't more free drugs, no matter how much lefties like David Eby and my opponent Caroline Elliott say so. As Premier, I will end the NDP's taxpayer-funded safe supply drug policies and focus on drug enforcement, cracking down on open drug use near homes and schools, and investing in treatment and involuntary compassionate care. If you agree, come join the BC Conservative Party at teamurifulmer.ca, and together, let's protect our province and build a better British Columbia.
I'm Kerry-Lynne Findlay, running for leader of the Conservative Party of BC. We need to be honest about what's happening. The NDP is directing government housing to serve very different groups: vulnerable seniors, low-income residents, and individuals struggling with severe addiction. And it's not working. This model is a failure. Communities across South Surrey, Burnaby, New Westminster, and beyond are raising serious safety concerns. Critical care addiction cases need specialized, supervised environments, not placement alongside seniors and vulnerable residents. Let's be clear. There should be no drug use inside publicly funded housing. These spaces must be safe, stable, and respectful. I stand with residents calling for change. As Premier, I will ensure government housing is safe, stable, and secure.